The pit lane will be open shortly, which means it's nearly time for qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix here in Monza. Some fans have commented that this track isn't as difficult as it once was due to the recent track modifications around Parabolica.
The Parabolica is a demanding high-speed corner, and in the past, drivers were known to stray into the gravel trap. But around the edge now is a strip of tarmac, so if a car does go off the track, they should be able to recover.
I'm expecting a good showing from Ferrari at their home race this weekend. They've had a lot of success here over the years, and though they haven't won a race here since Fernando Alonso in 2010, you can never say never.
The fans here are amazing and always provide a lift to the Ferrari team, so I'm expecting them to be right in the mix come today's qualifying session.
Hey, what's up guys, Tommy14 here, and welcome finally to another episode of Kimi Raikkonen's F1 2015 career mode. It's been a while. I haven't really had time to do any sort of editing or even do the races. I mean, all the races were recorded before the newest Xbox One dashboard even came out, so yeah, that's how long it's been, so apologies for that. But you know, here's us doing the our setup, as you can see in the background, just saving it to Singapore. I think you can, sorry, to Italy. I think you can actually see the date of when we do this. But enough waffling on, let's get into quali. So here we go, you join us on the start of our qualifying lap, just trying to get out the way of Roberto Merri there. I was going to say Roberto Stevens then, but coming down the start-finish straight with a whopping almost 230 mile an hour top speed, braking for the first chicane. It's a difficult bugger, this first chicane here in Monza, especially with the setup I've got going. It's a very sensitive setup that we've got going around here at Monza, but coming through Curva Grande now. Such a famous corner. Of course, it's not actually really a corner, but it's such a lovely part of the circuit. But we're hooking up those apexes beautifully through the second chicane, and this is our fastest lap of qualifying. We've already done a 20.7, which was enough to get pole position, but I just wanted to go out once again to set another fast lap. I felt there was more time in me, and especially more time in the car, so I thought, you know what, let's give that a go. So coming under the bridge now, coming up to the Ascari chicane, such a lovely bit. Corner cut, sorry, my bad. But didn't actually gain too much time. Well, I did gain time, obviously, but it wasn't where I gained the time on the lap, because I'd always corner cut it on the lap before. But we're getting a very nice distant tow from, I believe that's a Sauber of Ericsson, it is indeed. So, getting a beautiful slipstream from the Ferrari-powered Sauber, coming down to the start-finish line. He goes in the pits, and we set a 1:20.1. Wow, look at that, 2.9 seconds faster than the second place guy. What an absolute joke. And that second place guy was a Mercedes. So here we are guys, the Italian Grand Prix, the one everyone wants to win, and especially the one everyone wants to win when you're driving for that prancing horse, the Ferrari. Will Stevens and Roberto Merri filling out the back row. Fernando Alonso a disappointing 18th there, but as you can see now, rounding out the top 10, Felipe Nasr doing a good job for Sauber in 5th. And then you've got the usual top 4, Kimi Raikkonen, Nico Rosberg, Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. Here we go, line it up for the start of the Italian Grand Prix. We're going to have to win this for the Tifosi, but it's lights out and away we go. And as we can see, we get a pretty poor start from Kimi Raikkonen there. As we can see, Nico Rosberg got a stormer of a start. Sebastian Vettel has also managed to maintain his position ahead of Lewis Hamilton. We actually cut the first chicane, but that's going to cost us now because we've run wide and we've been pushed into the gravel by our own teammate. And as you can see, Felipe Nasr is actually challenging Lewis Hamilton there. So an absolutely brilliant start for the Sauber driver there. But as you can see, coming through Curva Grande, Nico Rosberg has a massive advantage going into the second chicane. But we just put it up the inside of all three of those drivers. And as you can see, the end of lap 2 now, we are right onto the back of Nico Rosberg, and we're just right behind him coming out of the corner. And look how much Sebastian Vettel is slowing down the rest of the field. But we're going to get a pass without DRS on Nico Rosberg here, so that's pretty worrying for the Mercedes if Ferrari are that fast in a straight line without DRS. But we actually made a mistake there. We actually put a wheel on the grass, which didn't allow us to slow down as well as we'd have liked, and Nico Rosberg taking full advantage of that, and he's going to have to if we have such a straight line advantage over the Mercedes this race. But he's managing to hold out the lead quite well. Sebastian Vettel still in third place, holding off that pack, which is really surprising actually, because in qualifying he had more similar pace to Nico Rosberg than he did ourselves, so it's really surprising to see Rosberg's managed to pick up the pace that he didn't have in qualifying, or indeed any of the field, because I mean, I honestly don't know why I was 2.9 seconds faster. This is on the hardest AI. I did actually check, and you'll see at the end of the race it's the hardest AI. But it's just, I didn't understand what was going on. Monza, it should be like the easiest circuit to code competitive AI, but for some reason, Codemasters weren't able to do that for this game. But fingers crossed for F1 2016 that they're a lot better. But we get a great drive coming off the exit of the S.p.a chicane, and we just go round the outside of Nico Rosberg. We actually go wide slightly there, but taking advantage of the new runoff that you heard Anthony Davidson talking about earlier on. So unfortunately, that's a bit of a challenge gone from the old circuit. We actually go defensive there and pushing him over the white line, not quite into the pit wall, but we do make sure that, you know, we're not going to give this up easily. And as you can see, Rosberg's actually down our inside now, so still going wheel to wheel through the first corner. And this is a great tussle between ourselves and Nico Rosberg. Sebastian Vettel, really surprising that he's that far back. You can just see on the mini-map there, he's still not through Curva Grande, so really don't understand that. It's only 4 laps, and we did not know Nico Rosberg was still on our inside, so we cut the chicane and we give up the position. And as you can see, we've actually already got front left tyre wear, which also is slightly worrying considering the only left-hand corners that put any strain on the tyres is Curva Grande, 2 Lesmos and Parabolica, so it's not really a lot, so tyre wear shouldn't be an issue. But we make a stupid move to go down the inside of Nico Rosberg there, but nonetheless we got the move done. But as you can see, we cut on to lap 10 now, and as you can see, the front left tyre is really suffering around Monza. Of course, actually you've got the S.p.a chicanes as well, which will put strain on the tyres. But Monza is usually, traditionally, just a one-stop race. But seeing as you can see now, we've got a massive gap over Nico Rosberg, and I'm not really too certain on the tyre wear around here, especially on prime tyres. I wasn't too sure. I thought, you know what, spice things up. I've got a massive gap in the championship. Bugger it, let's do a 2-stop. So, coming to the pits for a second, well, our first stop, but a second lot of option tyres fitted to the car. So, coming into our pit box now, Kimi Raikkonen stops it on the marks beautifully. The mechanics beautifully timed, 2.5 I think that says, or 2.6 second pit stop. A reasonable stop there for the guys. As you can see, we've been pushed down because none of the other cars are actually come in yet. So maybe that's partially why the AI's pace is a little off, because they've been conserving their option tyres a little bit better to maybe go a couple more laps. But as we can see, we got on to the end of lap 11, and despite me thinking they were protecting their tyres, just look at this battle between Bottas, Vettel and Massa. And as we can see, we take avoiding action, but actually turns out to be a beautiful move around the outside of Valtteri Bottas. We put it into rich fuel mix, and as we can see, we're just going to have the 3 of them on the exit of Parabolica and on this straight. So that's 3 positions we've made up, and I think Rosberg went into the pits that lap as well, so actually 4 positions we gained on that one straight alone. And we had to get that move done because, of course, being on a 2-stop, we couldn't afford to be battling or stuck behind those guys. So, crucial, we got past all 3 of those in one go, essentially. But now we've just got to close up to Lewis Hamilton, and the AI are really struggling either for pace or just tyre wear, because we're right on the back of Lewis Hamilton and we couldn't even make out it was him before that. So we just go round the outside of him perfectly into Lesmo 2, and this is it just surprised me so much the AI was so slow, because as I say, Monza, it should be a fairly simple circuit, but we come on to lap 18 anyway, and as we can see, poor bloke Fernando Alonso leaving Ferrari for a new challenge at McLaren Honda. He's been lapped in 18 laps in his McLaren Honda, and I bet he was kicking himself seeing Ferrari win, possibly with a chance to win once again at Italy. Of course, the last time Ferrari won there was 2010 with Fernando Alonso, so you know he had done a lot for that team in my opinion. But we come into the pits now on lap 18 for a 9-lap stint on the prime tyres. So I've actually pushed both the option stints pretty far considering our strategy. I've actually gone further on the option tyres than I have on the prime, so we probably could have made the one-stop work, but it probably would have been a very boring race. Another good stop by Ferrari though, 2.5 seconds. We come out of the pits and just look at that. We're not even being challenged by Nico Rosberg. He's only just come across the line. You know, it says a lot really. You can't really do a lot about it in these sort of situations. I mean, I'm not the type of person to just script races, you know, and just, oh no, I had an issue, I had to come into the pits again. Look at that, 15 seconds. We're on a 2-stop, he's on a 1. And, you know, you just can't do a lot about that, unfortunately, when the AI are just that far off the pace. As you can see, I paused it here because I didn't know whether he made another stop. He's only done 1 stop. So all the time I've spent doing another stop, I've made up and gained by 15 seconds. That's just how slow they were. And yeah, this was pretty challenging to be fair. Pastor Maldonado and Max Verstappen, 2 pretty aggressive drivers in 2015. And of course, with this game, AI don't really know what blue flags are. So these are basically overtakes like their 4th position, but of course they're not. So, you know, even though I've got a massive lead, if I have an accident, you know, lose a wheel, lose a front wing, you know, it could change like that. So, you know, it wasn't completely safe until this point, but we're going to get DRS on Verstappen, of course, using that. Were they Renault or were they Ferrari in 2015? I think they were Renault in 2015. But whatever power unit they had, it wasn't great because we just breezed past him beautifully there. And as you can see, 1.6 seconds lost in that middle sector. It's just so slow, the AI. It's so disappointing. It really is. There's not a lot I can even comment on other than just the game, basically, and just what's wrong with it. 18 seconds in, you know, it was 15 seconds the last lap, it was 18 seconds this lap. That's 3 seconds in 1 lap. You know, what can I do about that? What honestly can I do? You know, it's just ridiculous really. But we're on the final lap anyway. Enough of me being disappointed. We're going to try and push for fastest lap. You can see it's already a 121.1, so it's a pretty fast lap to be fair. Our qualifying lap was a 120.1, so we're 1 second away from our pole position time, which actually isn't too bad considering we're on worn prime tyre. Actually, I was probably on a fresh set of prime when I did that lap, but nonetheless, pretty decent lap time. And who's this we're about to lap? Jenson Button in the McLaren Honda, so he's outperforming Fernando Alonso this race at Monza. And here we go, just look how poor this Honda power unit is. I mean, I know we've got DRS, he's got DRS, but look at that. And he wasn't getting out of the way because of blue flags, because we had to force that move on ourselves. And Ericsson being very cautious getting out of our way there. So, of course, you know, Sauber having a Ferrari power unit, maybe there's a deal going on around this time, so Sauber could continue using Ferrari power. I don't know, I'm just making stuff up now. But we're coming to the Parabolica, final corner of the Italian Grand Prix. Kimi Raikkonen is going to come across the line to win for the Tifosi and rack up another win in his dominant championship fight. So there we are, guys. Another win for Kimi Raikkonen in this career mode. 23.8 seconds ahead of Nico Rosberg. He was in second place. He did 1 less stop than us. That is just ridiculous. I don't understand what was going on with the AI in this race, but Lewis Hamilton finishing out the top 3, Sebastian Vettel down in 4th place. He really didn't have any pace that race. Maybe he was the reason why a lot of the cars were being slow, but look, there you are. You can see legend difficulty, the hardest it gets, so I don't really know what to do. Hopefully we can expect better race in Singapore whenever that gets uploaded, but there's our gap anyway, 89 points. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and until next time, take care.